Good evening and welcome. Let's take a look at our big story this hour. U.S. President was admitted to the Walter Reed Military Hospital in Washington after testing positive for COVID-19. The U.S. election is on the 3rd of November and is now forced to sail in uncharted waters, with Donald Trump having to freeze much of his campaign. The White House initially said that Trump only had mild symptoms, but later in the day, Press Secretary Katie McEnany has announced that the president would be spending a couple of days at the hospital. She made it clear that Trump would continue to work from the presidential offices at Walter Reed. The president was transported from the White House to Walter Reed just outside Washington on board Marine One, after repeatedly denouncing the social distancing measures at his rallies. Trump was seen walking out of the White House wearing a mask. Prior to his departure, President Trump recorded this statement where he said that he is doing well.
I want to thank everybody for the tremendous support. I'm going to Walter Reed Hospital. I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out. The First Lady is doing very well. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will never forget it. Thank you.
Undergoing treatment, Trump tweeted that he is going well, I think. Thank you all. Now, the White House has made it clear that Trump's hospitalization is purely precautionary and that it does not indicate a deterioration in the president's health. Walter Reed has been the preferred hospital of presidents and vice presidents throughout the years. It has an autonomous ward within the complex that houses presidential offices and a special suite. On the back of Trump's hospitalization, all the election events will either be postponed or held virtually, as he'll undergo treatment for the coronavirus. Now, Trump will also continue to work from the presidential offices at Walter Reed for the next few days. We're being joined by senior journalist Ray Locker live from Washington, D.C. Thanks for being with us. Now, Trump has been admitted to the Walter Reed Military Hospital after testing positive for COVID. We are expecting a statement from his physician any moment now.
That's right. It's going to be an update from his Dr. Sean Conley about, the progress that's been made over the last, 18 hours since the president left to go to Walter Reed last night.
Right, and Trump would continue to work from the presidential offices at Walter Reed, as Katie McEnany has said that he will be spending a few days at the hospital.
Right. Well, that's what they say. We really don't know. I mean, this administration has not been very transparent with details of the president's health. You may remember last November, he rushed to Walter Reed on a Saturday afternoon with very little explanation other than it was part of a routine physical. And anybody who's familiar with how presidents do their physicals know that it was anything but routine. So, we don't really know what's happening. He's already taken 2 drugs that have not received full Food and Drug Administration approval, the Regeneron complex of IV drugs and remdesivir, which is also still in the experimental stages. The initial reports are good on those drugs, but they're not widely available to the public. So that's an indication of some level of concern on the part of the president's physicians.
Absolutely. And we know that the president is in high-risk categories on 2 fronts. Firstly, his age at 74, and also he is considered to be obese in terms of his weight.
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, he's claims to be in very good health. He does a lot of things, though, that aren't really good health practices. He eats food that's bad for him. He doesn't get much exercise. I don't think that works in his favor. He's also been doing so many events where people are not wearing masks, including the one last Saturday for the Supreme Court justice nomination. They call into question his preparedness to take care of himself.
Right, Ray. And you have mentioned the masks. Prior to his departure, President Trump recorded his statement where he said that he's doing well, he thinks, and he was seen wearing a mask walking to Marine One. Now, he and his team have been heavily criticized over their flouting of social distancing norms and wearing masks.
That's right. I mean, they view wearing a mask as a sign of weakness. It may even be a nod to some of his supporters who believe the coronavirus is a hoax. despite evidence to the contrary. More than 200,000 Americans have died from it. He made fun of Joe Biden during Tuesday night's debate for Biden wearing a mask. So, prior to yesterday, the president has not taken this seriously as many Americans have.
Right. You've mentioned Joe Biden. Joe Biden's campaign has changed its tone since the protest testing positive. They have, of course, sent well wishes to Melania Trump and to President Donald Trump.
Right, and they've taken negative TV ads off the air and replaced them with positive ads. Meanwhile, President Trump's campaign has not responded in kind. They're continuing to use negative TV ads, many of them filled with inaccurate claims about Joe Biden. So you see one side acting one way and the other side still, acting the way it has.
Right, and Ray, what do we expect going forward? The next debate is not even 2 weeks away, and then of course the elections within a month. What are we expecting now, considering the situation?
Well, I'm not sure that debate is going to happen. I think it was debatable whether it would happen anyway, given President Trump's performance last Tuesday. And, there has been a lot of talk about whether he should go on or not. I think his health situation makes it extremely unlikely that anybody is going to want to be in an enclosed space with him, or whether he should be there. And we don't know what's going to happen with his health. I mean, remember Boris Johnson, the English prime minister, was in the hospital and people said it was routine. And the next thing you know, he's on a ventilator and people didn't know if he was going to live or die. And I certainly hope that doesn't happen with President Trump. I think it would be a disaster for the United States. But anything can happen with somebody in his condition. Meanwhile, the election will go on as planned. I mean, that's set by law. We've never had a situation in which a candidate has come down with a serious disease a month before the election. But the law is, baked into the law. I mean, the election is baked into law, so it's going to happen. And we're in uncharted territory in terms of, how that works out with somebody who may be extremely ill.
Right, Ray, thank you very much for joining us for all the latest there. And of course, we're sending well wishes for the speedy and full recovery of the
My pleasure. Thanks.